Hello, Nico here, and for this video I'm going to do something a little bit different. Normally I just kind of do some indie reviews and achievement guides and sometimes a walkthrough or something like that, a preview. But for this, we're going to look at the physical version of Double Dragon Collection from PlayAsia. This is basically the equivalent of the NTSC version. It doesn't have an ESRB rating or anything like that, but as far as the box art goes and everything, this is the equivalent of the NTSC version. And the first thing about it is that I really didn't like the cover art, but luckily it has reversible cover art, and the inside art, which should probably be the one that it comes with on the outside by default, is the Japanese art, and it's just really great. You just look at it, it's really well drawn. The back is the same, but the front is really nice to look at. Like, I flip-flopped it, and I'll have this on the outside on display. But yeah, I just really like that. And so now we're just going to kind of go through the games, just maybe play a little bit of it, kind of compare the version that you might be getting here. This collection comes with Double Dragon 2, and Double Dragon 3 from the NES. It comes with Double Dragon 4, which was released somewhat recently, within the last several years. And then it comes with Return of Double Dragon, which was the Super Nintendo game. And then it also comes with Double Dragon Advance, which is the game on this collection that I was the most excited about, because I don't have that one. And so here we'll dive into some gameplay for the original Double Dragon. And these NES versions appear to be the same as the previous released Kunio-kun collection that had, like the River City games and the Double Dragon games on them. That's what I believe you're getting here. It looks the same, at least to me. I didn't fully research it or anything like that, but it has the same feature sets with avatars and online play, and you can customize the controls and save states and all that kind of stuff. So all three of the NES games, pretty much the same feature set. And there's the quality up option, and then the original. The original is just the original NES version, whereas the quality up version it removes like the flickering and the slowdown that the NES had with a lot of games. So you have your choice. If you want the authentic experience, you can play the original. If you want the quality up version, you could do that. That's what I'm playing here. And then I'm checking the controls. It's real simple, but of course, the iconic intro, poor Marion getting punched in the stomach. Just something to kind of note is I was kind of hoping that you would be able to play these with the NES Online controller for, a more authentic experience. And I'm not saying that you can't, but if you do that, you lack the X and the Y button. And X and Y, for some reason, are actually start and select in the NES games, the way it's mapped here. Start and select bring up the menu screen, like the overlay menu screen where you can load save states and view the controls and stuff like that, instead of doing what they should do. So that's kind of unfortunate, but I guess if you really wanted, you could use the Super Nintendo Online controller, because that has the X and the Y button, and that's close enough to the NES layout where it would still feel right. But yeah, I don't know about that choice. I didn't try remapping it. Maybe you can remap it and then that won't be an issue, but even still, then you're going to be lacking buttons. so I don't know. I don't know what the choice was on that, but other than that, it plays great, and it looks really nice. There's different borders. This is like the box art border that I'm using here. And one thing that I wanted to check on this screen that I remember from when I was a kid is you got those two metal beams kind of going up the right side of the screen. And in the NES original, you could like ride these right up and you'll keep like going up through the screen. It's real weird. But you can't do it here. I don't know if you could do it if you use the original version. But since this is quality up, maybe they fixed it. I have no idea. But I tried. I thought it would be cool if you could do it, but you can't. Have a lot of fond memories of the original Double Dragon, so this is always fun to go back and play every now and again. Probably gonna be pausing here in a second. I just wanted to beat up a few more guys, then we'll switch over to Double Dragon 2, The Revenge. So we'll go ahead and just save it in case I want to come back and continue from here. And like I said, there is online play, but I mean, it's probably pretty unlikely unless you know somebody, you're going to find somebody to play these with. So now we'll get into Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, which again, same exact idea, same feature set from the Kunio-kun collection. Different avatars for each game that'll show when you play online. And then one thing I didn't look at with the first game is this right here. It tells you the difference, tells you a little blurb of the story, shows you some scans of the cart and the box art and stuff with, you know, logos removed that they probably don't have the rights to display. But yeah, I had Double Dragon 2 as well as a kid, so this will be another one that I'm familiar with that I'll probably play the whole first level with. And some really great drawings for the cutscenes here in the intro. Kneeing guys in the face never gets old. Might have just been me, but I have a little bit harder of a time here, kind of, you know, getting that spin kick off. Usually on the NES, I have it pretty much down. I don't know if it's a slight delay on an HD TV versus when you play these games on a CRT, but there was a lot of times where I was trying to get the spin move off and I couldn't do it. Unfortunately for the two Lindas coming down the ladder, I did manage to get it off there, which is always satisfying to pull off. Double Dragon games are a lot of fun to play when you have a co-op partner. Just beating up buddies, beating up baddies. Give them a good pummeling. Using the different weapons that the enemies drop. I recently played through Double Dragon 4 with my buddy Scott. We played all the way through it and on the Xbox and unlocked all the achievements and all of that, and it was a lot of fun even though you had to play through it with a lot of different characters. I still enjoyed it. I know a lot of people didn't really like Double Dragon 4 very much, but I still had fun with it. It wasn't a masterpiece, but it was good enough. Bopping these guys with a lead pipe. Then getting bopped myself. This was a part I remembered not having this much trouble with, but Burn Off here was pummeling the crap out of me when I was fighting him. I just couldn't get my spin kick off, so I kept just doing a regular jump kick, and then he'd duck it and then land, and then he'd just grab me and punch my insides. Tried jumping there, he just punched me right in the face. Get a couple punches in, and then get triple comboed in the gut again. Don't mind me, just getting pummeled some more. Down to my last block of health. Am I gonna embarrass myself and lose? Oh. The answer is no. Managed to beat him with one block of health. So, same thing. We're gonna go ahead and just save in case I want to come back later and continue from level 2. And then we're going to dive into the last of the NES trilogy, which is Double Dragon 3, The Sacred Stones. Now, this one I did not have when I was a kid, and so I have no nostalgia tied to it. And it is to my understanding that this is the worst of the trilogy, which, from the few minutes that I played of it, I can see that being the case. So I'm not going to play a full level of this. I didn't really like how it handled and how it controlled. It just, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel so fluid and smooth as the first two. I don't know, I didn't like it, but we'll play a little bit of it just to take a peek. Again, probably didn't really need to play through as much as I did of the 3 NES games, just because they have the exact same feature sets. But yeah, cutscenes are nice, and the music's okay. That's another part of it. Right off the bat, that wasn't as good as the first two, was the music. Yeah, you start off in this room and you can still do the spin kick. Just feels very, like, slow. Even though you can run and stuff like that, like, it feels very slow to me. So, they went for a more story approach. We talk to this guy, and then he perishes. And we got some more baddies to beat down in this dojo here. Kick him in the face, and then get kicked in the face myself a few times, and punched, and knee him in the face. So again, I guess I'll save it. Probably not going to play that one again, but we'll save it. And then now we'll dive into the more modern release, which is Double Dragon 4, which took a lot of inspiration from the NES trilogy, but there's a lot more complexity to the moves that you can pull off. You have a lot more moves in your arsenal, and there's a ton of unlockable characters, a lot of the enemies and bosses that you fight you'll unlock, and then there's also a survival mode. But Again, this one's a lot more fun to play co-op than I think it is solo. But they basically went for the Double Dragon 2 look. Obviously, the backgrounds and stuff like that are a lot more detailed. But as far as like the character models and stuff, that was the style that they went for. A lot of different weapons you could pick up, and it's pretty good music. A lot of remixes. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and just play through a bit of this, and then we will dive into the Super Nintendo game. So let's run this through. Now we're going to take a look at Super Double Dragon, which was originally released on the Super Nintendo. And what's really cool about Super Double Dragon and Double Dragon Advance is that you can switch between the American version and the Japanese version. And I'm actually going to play the Japanese version of Super Double Dragon because that one came out a few months later, and they actually improved it over the American release. So this is another one I don't have any nostalgia tied to. I didn't have this. I had Battletoads Double Dragon on the Super Nintendo instead of this, which, I mean, I've never played this, but I kind of think I would prefer. It was a little bit faster paced. This is like a more slow-paced and methodical game, and it took me some getting used to with the parry system, which it's not bad, honestly, but it's not that useful when you have enemies around, multiple enemies around you, because you can parry a guy and then you start getting hit by the other guy. So it takes some getting used to. It's not terrible. I like what I play here, but it's, I don't know. It felt more difficult than just worrying about moving around and in pummeling guys, and it was a good idea, I guess, and it's one that gets used in Double Dragon Advance, but when I recorded my footage for that, I didn't really use it that often. Kind of played it like it was one of the classic games, even though I had the option to parry. So yeah, just kind of, again, gonna just play some of this, kind of get a feel for it, show how it looks and how it plays, and then we'll come back around for the main attraction, which is Double Dragon Advance. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at Double Dragon Advance, which, like I said before, for me is the main attraction. And what I didn't mention is that Super Double Dragon and Double Dragon Advance have like the same feature set, much so in the same way that the NES games have like the same menus and features. So in this, you have the American and Japanese version. You have an increased quality option. You can customize the settings. There's obviously save states and all that sort of stuff. There's different borders you can put on and scan lines and things like that. And this game's kind of really unique in that it's sort of almost like a remake of the original Double Dragon Arcade. Obviously, it starts off that way, but it has a lot of features and some new content and stuff that was exclusive to this game. So I believe this game was really popular. Like, this is kind of like a cult classic type of Double Dragon game. And so that's part of the reason why I was really excited to play it. It controls really nice. It looks really great, even blown up on a big screen, because this was obviously originally a Game Boy Advance game, so it was on a handheld. And I really enjoyed playing through this first level, so I'm looking forward to coming back and playing more of this on my own. But if you've never played this one, this might be a good reason to grab this collection if you like physical media, or if you don't care about physical, you can get a digital too. But for me, I really liked the physical product that PlayAsia was putting out here, and so I picked it up. It took a while to get it because I think it was on back order actually, so I don't know, maybe they didn't order a lot, or maybe it sold better than they thought. I'm not really sure what was going on with that, but yeah, this is just a lot of fun to play. You know, when you kick sometimes, like after a couple punches, you almost do like this combo move where you like kind of lunge forward with your kick. I also want to say that I think there was like a car on the billboards like that back in the day that looked like a Volkswagen Beetle. I might be wrong on that. Maybe this is how it was. But I almost want to say they removed them, just maybe for purposes of copyright and all that. Maybe they didn't want to get in trouble with Volkswagen. I think it was basically looked like a Volkswagen Beetle, but again, I might be wrong on that. So you just kind of pummel the enemies and work your way through. This also had, like a survival mode and stuff, as you might have seen in the menus when I was selecting the story mode. Beating down on the iconic Abobo. Giving him a good whipping. My best Simon Belmont impression. This just has an overall, like, way better feel to it than Super Double Dragon did, because this does share a similar kind of, combat system. But here, it feels much more responsive and fluid than that one did. That one just kind of felt kind of slow and sluggish for me, especially since I prefer, it doesn't have to be super fast, but I prefer games that are a little bit of a faster pace. Like, I really enjoyed Double Dragon Neon, which is also on the Switch. And then they have these, they have these cutscenes that I've never seen before. Bobo got pummeled, so he's crying here. He's missing a few teeth. He's bleeding. He's got a huge lump on his head. So, yeah, this is really fun. This is definitely the main attraction for me. So, yeah, I really enjoy this collection. I'm glad to have picked it up, and I hope that if you watch this video all the way through, I know I kind of did a lot of rambling, but I just kind of wanted to show off some gameplay of each game, and yeah, hopefully this helped you decide if you haven't ordered this yet. I'll put a link in the description below to the version that I got, but I appreciate you watching if you're still here, and if this helped you, give it a thumbs up, comment below if you have any questions, or if, you're going to pick this up, let me know, and yeah. subscribe if you haven't done so already. I cover a lot of different games and make a lot of different videos. Appreciate you staying here. Till next time.